A very warm welcome to Africa Good Morning, where we bring you the news making headlines across Africa. My name is Aina Raiza Koyo, and alongside me is Ashwin Mberi.
And today is Evaluate Your Life Day. There comes a time in every life where we have to take an accounting, a reckoning of the things we've done, the progress we've made, and the path we're on. During that evaluation, we may find that we don't like where we are and want to make changes to move forward with our goals. Maybe you'll find that you're making the progress you wanted to and everything is moving smoothly. Most likely it will wind up somewhere in between. Whatever the case, Evaluate Your Life Day is a great opportunity to figure out where you are on your path. I remember my father would say, "Nato jitarisa," which means look at yourself properly. Here's a video on Evaluate Your Life Day.
In our top stories this morning, air pollution, second largest cause of death in Africa. Air pollution was responsible for 1.1 million deaths across Africa in 2019, a new study shows. Most of these deaths were as a result of household air pollution, driven largely by indoor cooking stoves. According to the report, air pollution is the second largest cause of death in Africa. It is a majority threat to health, human capital, and economic development, and was responsible for 16.3% of all deaths. Air pollution is responsible for more deaths than tobacco, alcohol, road accident, and drug abuse. Only HIV and AIDS causes more deaths. But beside the loss to life, air pollution from smoke-juicing ozone is fine, and finer particles may be siphoning billions of dollars off the continent's economy each year.
Jihadist leader shot down in French military operation. An operation by the French military operating in Mali shot down a jihadist chief of a group loyal to Al-Qaeda and 4 other members in an intervention in Goma in the north of the country, diplomatic and security sources reported today. The jihadist chief Sagid al-Khawra of the Islam and Muslim support group known as Abu Nassar and 4 of his fighters were killed on Saturday during an air raid by Bakane in the town of Tin Asakok, the agency said. French forces have been present in Mali for 8 years at the request of local authorities to fight radical Islamist groups, but the results of this operation have been much criticized in recent years, including its collateral effects that have hit the civilian population. The Sahel country is in a situation of great instability with strong jihadist pressure and 2 coups d'etat in less than a year and a transition process that has not yet been completed.
CIRGL applauds ceasefire at Central African Republic. The International Conference on the Great Lakes region welcomed the unilateral decision to cease fire throughout a territory of the Central African Republic. President João Lourenço said in a statement that it was with great satisfaction that he became aware of that decision. For this reason, he says CIRGL salutes the Central African people as it considers the ceasefire decision the recognition that open and constructive dialogue between all living forces is the best way to achieve peace and stability so longed for by the Central African people. According to the Angolan head of state, CIRGL welcomes the progress made and urges all political and military actors to comply with the ceasefire and the principle principle of the Political Agreement for Peace and Reconciliation in the Central African Republic, negotiated in Khartoum and signed on the 6th of February 2019 in Bangui, as a reference in the search for a lasting solution to the Central African crisis.
Hakainde Hichilema assures Zambians that he will not let them down. Zambian President Hakainde Hichilema has assured Zambians that his United Party for National Development administration will not let them down because it is determined to improve their welfare. Speaking when he featured on Radio Phoenix's Let the People Talk program, President Hichilema also thanks the people of Zambia for giving him an opportunity to serve them. We have only been in office for 1 month and 3 weeks, but when you look at what we have done to bring order in this country, it's like we've been in office for just over 6 months. It is also important for Zambians to feel the freedom because no one wants to be victimized, not even in trading places, the president noted. He has since urged the Zambia police to maintain law and order by protecting citizens without violating human rights. He said his administration will not allow party cadres to sink more bullets in citizens, as was the case in the previous regime. Meanwhile, President Hichilema has thanked Electoral Commission of Zambia for conducting the 2021 general elections under very difficult circumstances.
In our next story, Masisi cracks the whip. Botswana Democratic Party President Mokgweetsi Masisi has cracked the whip on errand members by suspending 4 councillors. They have been set aside for a period of 60 days pending disciplinary hearings. According to a letter dated 11th of October 2021, signed by Masisi, the 4 suspended councillors ceased to enjoy their rights and privileges as members of the party for the period of 60 days. The 4 councillors are supporters of the current Secretary General Mampo Balopi, currently embroiled in a factional fight with Masisi. This could mark the beginning of a longer protracted factional war between Masisi and Balopi. The letter, however, told Maggie in a recent interview that he harbored no plans to challenge Masisi for the party's presidencies. According to a source, Central Committee members expressed disappointment, particularly concerning certain behavior displayed by some BDP councillors who keep on attacking the ruling party leadership on social media platforms, especially on WhatsApp, without raising their concern through the party structures.
WHO wants to tackle sexual violence committed by humanitarians. The World Health Organization on Friday launched an action plan after a series of sexual violence scandals involving aid workers in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. The WHO has allocated an initial amount of $7.6 million to immediately strengthen its capacity to prevent, detect, and respond to sexual exploitation and assault in 10 countries with the highest risk profile, the organization told AFP. In a rare statement, dozens of countries, including the United States and EU member countries, demanded full commitment from the organization and its leaders on the subject. The document emphasizes several points aiming to place victims at the heart of prevention and responses to sexual assault and to strengthen individual and management responsibilities, according to the institution. The WHO is committed to implementing the recommendations of the Commission of Inquiry and to secede from the employees behind the violence, as well as those responsible who should have intervened.
Jose Maria Neves elected president of Cape Verde. Jose Maria Neves, candidate supported by the African Independence Party of Cape Verde, was elected in the first round as the 5th president of the Republic of Cape Verde, succeeding George Carlos Fonseca. There were still 3% of the polling station to be counted, but Jose Maria Neves is ahead with 51.5% of the votes, gathering the preference of more than 93,000 voters. Portuguese Prime Minister Antonio Costa has already used a Twitter to congratulate the candidate victory in yet another demonstration of stability and strength of the Cape Verdean democracy.
Chad former rebel Baba Lade appointed Director of General Intelligence. A few days ago, Abdel Kader Mohammed, a former rebel leader, better known under the name of Baba Lade, was appointed boss of the intelligence services. For Baba Lade, this appointment represents for a return to grace. On 3 April, in the midst of an election campaign, the late President Idris Deby Itno surprised the audience in Bongo in the south of the country by announcing that he was reconciling with an opponent he had imprisoned for more than 6 years. Idris Deby Itno was killed in action a few days later, and Baba Lade disappeared from radar. In the opinion of many observers, the appointment of this former rebel, who mainly operated in the Central African Republic, reflects Chad's desire to regain control of the Central African situation, especially since Baba Lade is a major player in the conflict in the Central African Republic during the last 10 years.
Public hearing on abortion kicks off. SWAPO Member of Parliament Lucia Vedvoy has admitted that abortion takes place widely in Namibia and this can no longer be swept under the carpet. She was speaking at the public hearing on legalization and non-legalization of abortion in Namibia taking place in Windhoek. Former Deputy Health Minister Juliet Kavetuna, speaking at the hearing, believes that abortion will put more strains on the healthcare system because medical doctors would be required to be present. The conversation about abortion should be guided by the Constitution of Namibia, which states that life starts at birth, gender rights activist Ndilo Mtengwe remarked. Former Ombudsman Advocate Bianca Khawanas asked the anti-abortion voices why they are quiet when a person aborts in the event of rape or incest. I'm allowed to abort because I was raped. I'm allowed to abort because there was an incest. No remarks when life starts and where life ends in these circumstances. No one asked that question.
In our next story, schools closed indefinitely, external exams not shifted in Eswatini. Prime Minister Cleopas Dlamini yesterday announced the government's decision to close schools indefinitely following the recent unrest and mass protests by pupils, public transport workers, and pro-democracy movement. However, ongoing international examinations will proceed as planned. Security will be provided for these pupils wishing to sit for the examinations, he said. We also request parents to continue giving guidance to their children while at home so that they understand the importance of education and that time lost can never be regained, he added. He also reminded learners that they have a responsibility to ensure that other people's rights were not violated as they exercised theirs. Even if the issues are genuine, you cannot say, I want this now and get it. Even at home, when you request something from your parents, you do not demand that it should be given at that moment, but you give them time, he said.
Mozambican Malawian netted over pangolin. Police in Lilongwe have arrested a Mozambican national and a Malawian citizen for being found in possession of a live pangolin. The duo Anthony Edward, a Mozambican, and Mike Gama was arrested on the 14th of October 2019 in the Area 24. Detectives from Lilongwe Police Station and the National Police Headquarters were tipped that the duo was in possession of an endangered animal at the ZBS bar. The law enforcers rushed to the place and found the suspect selling the live pangolin at the price of 8 million kwacha. The detectives immediately handcuffed the duo and seized the scaled animal.
Angola's oldest shoe shiner is still working. At 85 years old, Faustino Shinduamba, better known as Jovito, is undoubtedly the oldest working shoe shine boy in the country. He was born on February 2, 1936 in Quilenges in the then district of Sada Bandeira in the current province of Huila. Says that he started shining shoes in the distant year of 1972 in Mohamedes, the current capital of the province of Nambia, when he was 36 years old after having left his homeland. A resident of Forte de Santa Rita, urban district of Mohamedes, the oldest Jovito, the name which he is known due to his discernment and good physical shape, tells in a voice choked with pain and tears in his eyes that he had 9 children, but today he only has 1 left. To the young, the oldest Jovito insists that they should get the vaccine, stressing that the corona vaccine came to save lives. Faustino Jovito Shinduamba says that even with adversities, it is worth not despairing. Better days will come. COVID-19 will end and the world will return to normality. Such encouraging news. What were you doing in 1972?
I was not born.
Neither was I. This is Africa Good Morning. We are glad to be here today, and we have more news for you after the break. Time and time again, we on AGM bring you news about the gas and oil exploration in the Kavango regions of Namibia and the Okavango Rivers Delta in Botswana. Unfortunately, and contrary to what Recon Africa is alleging, the environmental impact assessments and the later clearance certificate came into being while the COVID-19 pandemic-related restrictions made it impossible for interested parties to take part in consultations. Local rural folk are not satisfied with the outcome, quite apart from the fact that Recon Africa has always insisted that it follows Namibian law, yet keeps being found out in terms of applying for drilling licenses after the fact, as well as obtaining water drilling permits after having sunk water points, never mind occupying land contrary to the relevant Act for Communal Land Acquisition. Looking at the Kawe photo, you will see that they continue to occupy that land even though they are supposed to have finished drilling an exploratory borehole in search for fossil fuel. At Mbambi, Recon Africa has disassembled the oil rig and have packed up, apparently planning to go forward with a third drilling operation at Nkaru, effectively contravening the original EIA again. Have a look at this video but by Rewild, a nature conservation organization.
There is no resource more precious than water in the Okavango River Basin, where Canadian company Recon Africa is drilling for oil and gas. Local people are concerned for their homes, their water supply, and the ecosystem that supports all life around them. Yet, the Okavango River Basin is under siege. The Okavango Delta is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and an ecological wonderland so vast it is visible from space. This region encompasses key biodiversity areas and sustains nearly 1 million indigenous and local people by providing clean water, food, and homes. The Okavango River Basin is home to some of the world's most threatened wildlife and the stomping grounds of the largest population of elephants on Earth. It is unclear at this time if there is even oil to find. What is clear is that building oil and gas infrastructure could increase poaching, make it impossible for animals to find food and mates, and destroy a wilderness Eden. If not stopped, Recon Africa is poised to pollute the waters and destroy the ecosystem, which the people who live here depend upon for their very lives. The wild is for the 100%, not only those who exploit it for profit. Enough is enough. Join us to demand accountability. Together, we can save the Okavango for all wild kind.
Strike it gold and win 5,000 Namibian dollars in cash with Neo Paints. Simply buy Neo Paints products from the selected range and stand a chance to get one of 12 mystery buckets filled with gold paint. All 12 winners will each get 3 extra paint buckets equal to their purchase. One to replace the gold paint, the second to use on your project, and the third to give to a charity of their choice. One winner can score another 10,000 Namibian dollars by showing us your creative use of the golden paint. The best project wins the cash. Offer is valid from 27 September to 18 December at your favorite hardware store nationwide. Visit us at neopaints.com for more competition details and follow us on Facebook for weekly competition updates. Neo Paints, a coat of excellence.
Welcome back to Africa Good Morning. Now, in Zimbabwe, civil servants who defied the government's order to be vaccinated against COVID-19 should not report for duty starting Monday. Talent Gore has this story and more. Good morning, Talent. How are you?
Good morning, Aina. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you. Please tell us more.
So the Zimbabwean government on Friday ordered that all unvaccinated civil servants who defied government's order to be vaccinated should not report for duty starting yesterday. But we've seen since yesterday, the government reversed its position, saying that the order will only become effective end of year. Last month, government issued statutory instrument 234 of 2021 to bar unvaccinated civil servants from reporting for duty and gave them until last Friday to get jabbed or be fired. But the public service minister yesterday evening said that the civil servants had up until the end of year to be vaccinated, or they risked being fired and lose their jobs. So we're seeing that the government has since reversed its position on the issue of unvaccinated civil servants, and they have given those who are not vaccinated up until the end of this year to be vaccinated.
Do you get the feeling that the initial announcement was just to try and get people to be vaccinated, and the plan might have actually just been to only have it start at the end of the year?
Yes, we do have that feeling. A lot of people are saying that it was a way of trying to force people to be vaccinated, but the government has since said that the number of people who have been vaccinated is way, way lower than they expected. The number of civil servants who have been vaccinated is way lower than they expected. So they are now the grace period up until the end of this year.
All right, Talent. Now, in your next story, congestion is blocking the Beitbridge border post. Could you tell us about that?
Chaos has rocked Beitbridge border post, where we have seen that haulage trucks taking days to cross over from South Africa to Zimbabwe. Apparently, some stakeholders at the border post are blaming the new Zimbo Borders, a private company that was contracted to upgrade the border on a build, operate, and transfer basis, which is levying $201 per vehicle passing through the just completed commercial terminal. So the stakeholders are saying that the Zim Borders system is flawed and was failing, thus resulting in slow movement of vehicles. The Zim Borders was contracted to upgrade Beitbridge border post and run it for 17 years. So some stakeholders are saying that the system that this company is using was flawed and actually causing the delay in the process. So they're saying that they need to do something about it because the traffic, the congestion is taking up to 5 kilometers. So they're saying that the Zim Borders must do something about it. They must work on their system so that the haulage trucks can come into the country freely without all this congestion and everything that is going on at Beitbridge border post.
All right, talent. Police in Harare has busted a social media criminal syndicate which has been targeting and luring schoolboys for sodomy. Please tell us more.
Police in Harare have busted a social media criminal syndicate which was luring schoolboys to sodomy. Assistant Police Commissioner Ponya to say that the future of young boys was threatened by social media, where we now have a group which is waylaying school children, and in the process boys are being abused and initiated into sodomy activities and gay activities. The police said that the group comprises of young boys and old men who communicate mostly through Facebook and WhatsApp. Say that the communication was discreet and leads to dating where sexual activities are conducted at certain lodges and houses. The police also said that the people who are doing this, they are business people, they are rich people, and some people who actually live in the Lifiseba, Harare, and other towns in Zimbabwe. The police said that one of the suspects was caught and was arrested and was before the courts, and the other one died whilst the police was still conducting investigations. So they say that they're going to continue busting these social media criminal syndicates because they've seen that they have become a menace in Zimbabwe. This is not the first time they have busted such a syndicate, and the syndicates actually, there are many in the country. So they say that they're going to make sure that they bring a stop to such activities.
Truly disturbing news, but thank you for bringing us the news as it is from Zimbabwe, talent.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's always good having you on Africa. Good morning. Next up, let's have a look at the weather forecast.
There is no one head size. Hats come in small, medium, and large. Eyeglasses are fitted. Just like with a hat or glasses, your mask should also fit your face, because any gap allows the virus to escape. No matter how good your mask is at filtering the virus, if it doesn't fit, it doesn't work. There are plenty of ways to get a good fit. Look for masks that come in different sizes and find the one that fits your face. Adjust the straps around your ears or head for a snug fit. Look for a mask with a flexible nose piece. Here's what to check. No gaps at the sides, no gaps at the nose, and no gaps around the chin. Now, breathe normally. Is it comfortable? If not, find another one. If it is comfortable, make sure when you blow hard, the air stays in your mask. Stay safe, close the gaps. And don't forget, it's not just about masks. Get vaccinated when it's your turn. Keep your distance, clean your hands, cover your cough with a bent elbow or tissue, and open a window.
This morning on Africa Good Morning, we're going to be joined by Kenya Kambowe, a journalist of the daily Namibian Sana. Good morning, Kenya. How are you?
Good morning, colleagues. How are you?
Fantastic. Now, Kenya, you indicated that you would like to tell us more about the water crisis and also some road issues in Rundu. Obviously, down here in Windhoek, it's almost inconceivable that a town that is situated on the Okavango River experiences a water crisis. But of course, you know better. So tell us about it.
Okay, now basically what happens, it has become a habit in Rundu whereby residents go without water for 1 or 2, up to 3 days. This is simply because the local authority is adamant that the residents are not paying for the services that they are receiving, which is leading to them not be able to supply the residents with services such as water. As you can see in the video, people are going to the river. That was yesterday when people were flocking to the river to go and get water. In the situation, but however, it has changed. So the water came last night. In terms of the roads, last week Friday there was a demonstration in town whereby motorists, mostly taxi drivers, were demanding that the local authority look into the issue of addressing the roads, because I can tell you the roads in Ruto are very bad. Like right now, where taxis used to pass, you need a 4x4 to pass. Otherwise, you'll get stuck and then you might damage your car further, and which will lead to you incurring cost.
All right, Kenya, I understand you have a video for us.
Yes, yeah. Basically, I spoke to a resident, Mr. Franz Moyo, who just, in brief, shared the experience of being a Rundu resident during this time of difficulties. Here's the video. Franz Moyo, can you briefly just tell us about the situation of water in Rundu, and also you can also elaborate on the issue of roads?
To start with the point, thank you very much for the opportunity. My name is Franz Moyo. The issue of water, excuse me, it's very much complicated, and it has put us in a situation that we do not have options but to come to the rivers, as you can see. If you check from my back or my background, it has people fetching water. At this moment, since yesterday in my location, for example, I don't have water. So we are forced to come and fetch water at the river here. Yeah. And we were actually hoping that something will work out after the government has engaged our town council and so on. That sounded more promising, but it seems to be just one of those political statements being used. Up to now, we're still suffering from the same problem.
Tell me about the directive or the statement issued by the town council last week in regard to disconnecting services to those who are in areas.
Yeah.
What has been the field and what have you picked up?
No, simply they want to collect their funds or their money from the residents, and the only way that they want to do that is by forcing, whether you pay or you don't pay, we all are punished in the same way, whereby they do not give us water. And which I also think one way or another, maybe it's best, but it's not at all. For me, I think they should give us water and close for those ones who are not paying for water. That's my thought. Yeah.
Why do you think people are not paying? What do you think are the underlying factors?
Why people are not paying? I think, to start with, our town council have been very lenient on how they follow up on people who owes them. And everyone has, or most of the people who do not really care, have taken a ride on them due to their own relaxation. And then to come to a point, they still, within the town council, you find that there are so many illegal connections done by by some of those staffs as well. So I think they should follow up mostly on those illegal connections, because there should be more water leaking than the ones that they are receiving money for. I think that would be my thought on that.
On the water issue.
Yeah.
Last week Friday, you were among those who were who took part in the demonstration.
Yeah.
Against the poor roads in Rundu. Can you also just give us what transpired, what led to it, and what was the outcome?
Yeah. As you can see, the being in Urundu is like being in the mountains and in the desert. We only have not more than 3-4 roads, proper roads. I wouldn't even call them proper roads because now they are all full of potholes right now. And the little gravel roads that we have, a small car can never pass through. You need to have an SUV or at least have a 4x4 that can lead you through. Roads are very bad. And the demonstration for last week, that was just us trying to push more on the town council to hear from them on where do they stand with regards to the roads in town. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time, sir.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you, Kenya, for bringing us that comprehensive report on what is currently transpiring in Rundu with regards to the water crisis and the road issues.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, this is Africa Good Morning, making sure you don't miss any of the news happening in every single corner of this beautiful continent. After the break, your economic news stories. Welcome back to Africa Good Morning. As promised, here are your economic news stories. And we start off with Botswana. IMF expects Botswana's growth to top Africa. The International Monetary Fund expects the local economy to expand by 9.2% this year, the highest in Africa, in a significant revision of its 7.5% forecast made earlier in the year. The IMF's World Economic Outlook, released this week, indicates that researchers at the institute expect Botswana's growth this year to considerably beat its sub-Saharan peers, with Seychelles second at 6.9%, Burkina Faso third with 6.7%, and Cote d'Ivoire fourth with 6%. While the IMF did not provide reasons for its improved forecast for Botswana, local fiscal authorities have said they expect the resurgence performance of the mineral sector, led by diamonds, to power the economy's bounce back from the COVID-19 induced recession last year. The mining sector, anchored largely by diamonds, is expected to rebound 34% in the current financial year.
Eswatini gets over 34 million Emaloti grant for TAVI project. Eswatini will receive 34 million Emaloti for implementation of the T1 African Vegetable Initiative in the kingdom. The T1 African Vegetable Initiative in Eswatini will involve upgrading the seed gene bank for our National Plant Genetic Resources Center at Malkens. This will allow larger collections for different crops, including traditional vegetables that will be collected from around the country to be housed by infrastructure. The 3-year TAVI project, a collaborative project being implemented.
Lesotho this week launched a new dynamic brand communication campaign dubbed The Changeables. The campaign is meant to celebrate Basotho who take challenges in their stride, transform obstacles into opportunities, and embrace changes as a way of building a better future for themselves and others. The head of marketing and communications at FNB, Masakoana Marakabe, said they are changing their brand after realizing that COVID-19 has changed people's lives. Marakabe said they had also changed the style of advertising, where they have adopted Basotho's elements. You can now see women and men wearing Basotho blankets in our adverts, which was not the case before, she said. The chief executive officer of FNB, Delekazi Mokebe, said they are encouraging people to change by bringing changes in the bank, which will boost them in changing.
Dlamini Zuma outlines a new model for municipalities in South Africa. Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, says that the government is pushing forward on its new district development model. Answering in a written parliamentary Q&A this week, Dlamini Zuma said that the key is to show new models is the introduction of DDM hubs, which will house critical and scarce skills such as engineers, planners, ICT specialists, and administrators to assist district and local municipalities. Dlamini Zuma said that her department would determine where such hubs are needed and could potentially be established provided the required financial and funding resources are available in consultations with province and municipalities. To date, fully fledged DDM hubs have been established in the 3 pilot sites in the eThekwini Metro, or Tambo in the Eastern Cape, and Waterberg district, she said.
That brings us to the end of our economic news stories. Up next, economic indicators. Welcome back to Africa. Good morning. It's time for us to dive into your sports news stories. In our first story, no room for niceties as Suarez and Liverpool reunite again. Luis Suarez reunites with Liverpool in the Champions League on Tuesday, and for another 90 minutes, a fan's favorite and cherished former club will have to be enemies again. The last time Suarez met Liverpool in Spain was also the first time since he left the club 5 years earlier in 2014, and it was the Uruguayan who set the tone. He had scored 82 goals in 133 games for Liverpool, won a cup with them, been defended through racism and biting scandals by them, and earned their adoration as one of their greatest ever players. Suarez is at his best when defiant, with an opponent to prove wrong and a moment to seize. Liverpool will remember it well.
In our next story, 5 great 2020 World Cup upsets. In the 2009 tournament opener, the Netherlands pulled off a sensational 4-wicket win over England at Lord's, the home of cricket. Chasing 163 to win, the Dutch scored 2 runs off the final ball. Tommy de Groot, who made a crucial 49 for Netherlands, said, "We set out a few months ago to achieve a few things, and this was one of them. We wanted to play at Lord's, qualify for the World Cup in 2011 and beat a big nation, and I think we did just that. In 2007, Zimbabwe stand favorites and reigning 50 over the World Cup Championships, Australia by 5 wickets in Cape Town. Australia were restricted to 138-9 with Elton Chingubura and Gary Bent claiming 5 wickets between them. Brendan Taylor shrugged off a rain delay with 60 of 45 balls before the game was settled on the penultimate ball with a 4-leg base.
In our next story, Mosimane wants VAR after African giant Ali denied clear penalty. Al Ali coach Peter Mosimane says African football chiefs must prioritize introducing VAR after the CAF Champions League title holders drew 1-1 at Gendarmerie Nationale of Niger in a last 32 first leg. Seeking to become the first club to win the elite African competition 3 seasons in a row, the Cairo outfit led from the 19th minute when Tunisian Ali Malol converted a penalty, but they were denied what Mosimane called a clear penalty before Momoni Diori leveled for the Nigerians on 75 minutes in Niamey. This is my 9th season as a coach involved in African competitions, and most of the time a second penalty kick is not given to one team. If we do not have VAR in our matches, we will continue to see this situation. We are behind Europe in this regard, and VAR would help everyone in Africa.
Federer drops out of top 10 as Norrie climbs ranking. Roger Federer dropped out of the top 10 in the ATPA rankings on Monday for the first time in almost 5 years as newly crowned Indian World Champion Cameron Norrie jumped to the 11th spot. Federer, who's 40, has not played due to the right knee injury since losing in the Wimbledon quarterfinals to Herbert Huzak in July. It is the first time the 20-time Grand Slam champion has been ranked outside of top 10 since January 2017 when he went to win the Australian Open following a knee injury. Norrie, who beat Georgia Nicolas Basilashvili on Sunday, became the first Briton to win the prestigious Indian Wells title, breaks into the top 20 at world number 15.
All right, the last of our sports stories, Wenger to meet with national coaches over World Cup plan. FIFA has invited the coaches of all 211 men's national teams to a meeting about their plans for a biennial World Cup and new international match calendar, the organization said on Monday. UEFA have vowed to oppose FIFA's plans until they are dropped by FIFA, and sources told Reuters on Friday that European bodies will refuse to participate in any new tournament and calendar if the plans are pushed through at a planned vote in December. As a coach of the men's national teams, their input is essential, Wenger, who has been central to the development of FIFA's plans, said in a statement. FIFA is holding a separate consultation about the future of women's football, headed by former U.S. women's national team coach Jill Ellis. Arsene Wenger, reading that name, a sight for sore eyes. All right, that brings us to the end of our sports news stories. After the break, your headlines. Africa Good Morning has been streaming live from 7 a.m., bringing you all the news and current affairs happening in the SADC region and beyond. If you missed our top stories at the top of the hour, or if you need a recap, here are the headlines. Air pollution, second largest cause of death in Africa. Jihadist leader shot down in French military operation. CIRGL applauds ceasefire at Central African Republic. Hakainde Hichilema assures Zambians that he will not let them down. IMF expects Botswana's growth to top Africa. And in sport, no room for niceties as Suarez and Liverpool reunite again. Those have been our stories.
We thank you very much for joining us on Africa Good Morning this morning. We look forward to receiving your remarks regarding our show. You can email them to us. Our email is agm_2centsworth@nmh.com.na. Alternatively, we have a website. It's called oneup2.com. We are also on Facebook and Twitter. That's at Africa Good Morning. Please play your part in the fight against COVID-19. And on that note, is all our love, all our light.
Until tomorrow, Swera Jakanaka.